Okay, the assignment from yesterday was all good, so we don't have to make corrections over that, any of it. So, you're going to apply what you did yesterday to an actual real life scenario, and it says, and I've got 3 sample problems, and then you're going to do 3 problems. Now on the sample problems, I want you to take notes on this green sheet. Just kind of do what I do. You don't have to use it if you don't want to on the assignment. That's up to you. But I at least want to see that you're paying attention with this here, because it kind of underlines what you're doing. It says I currently have $400. I'm adding money to my account at a rate of $10 per week. My friend has $550 and he's adding money at a rate of $5 per week. For how many weeks we have equal amounts of money? Now you see these tables up here, just make them on this sheet of paper. Okay, just translate them to this sheet of paper and make them longer. WK stands for weeks, and then money, and then do the same on the other one, weeks and money. Okay. Now, the fact that I have 0 weeks, $400 means that I start with $400 before I count the weeks. And this person here, my friend, he has 0 and $550. So that's like the beginning points. Obviously, he has more money than I do. Okay, so put after 1 week. Okay. Well, I'm gonna add $10. So 400 plus 10 is 410. My friend only adds $5, so that's going to be $555. Okay. After 2 weeks, I add another 10, so 420. After 2 weeks, we add 5 because my friend only has 5 a week, so 560. You're like, how long do we got to keep doing this? Just go a certain amount. Okay, so 430. That's going to be 565. And then we'll go 4. That's probably good enough. Okay. So that's 440. And this is going to be 570. Now, I would stop making the numbers. Like if all I had was this, I would stop the tables when this amount was equal to this amount. Okay. Right now, that's quite a ways off. They're not even close, okay? Because he started off with a lot more than what I started off with. Now, eventually, if I make this table forever, okay, I will have as much money as my friend. And the reason why is because I'm adding $10 a week. He's only adding 5. So eventually, I'll catch up to him after a certain amount of weeks. But it's going to take a long time. Okay, so when you're doing these on your own, what you want to do is make your table dollars and weeks, okay? So it's kind of like I taught you that one day, but there is going to be a difference. Okay? Again, here's where I identify my units and represent them with variables, letters. Here's where I kind of make a graph representation. And then there's where I write my equation and I'm going to solve it. Okay, so my units are dollars and weeks. Now remember the rule that time is always X, so weeks is going to be my time, that's X, and money's my Y. Okay, so dollars per week, okay. Now the thing is, there's 2 different people, okay. So this guy I was adding $10 every week, and the other guy was adding $5 every week. So there's actually 2 of them. You got 10x and 5x. So that means you're going to want to make 2 lines out of this. Okay. Now, so you're going to put 10x in the middle of one line in the middle, and then 5x, and that's me extending the line because it looks like mine looks crappy, and then 5x on the other. Now before the $10 per week, remember this guy here started with $400. Put a plus sign. He's adding $10 every week. I don't know how many weeks it's for, so that's why it's X. And then this guy here, before the $5 per week, he had $550. So 550. Okay, now when you have two lines, you don't need the y, so you're not going to put equals y at the top when there's two of them. Okay, there's no real need to do that when there's two lines, because now what you do is combine the lines into one equation. Okay, on one side you're going to put me 400 plus 10x, and you want to know when that's equal to my friend 550 plus 5x. That's a 550. Now remember yesterday, you got two different x variables, a 10x and a 5x, and the equals is here, so you can't make the v because they cross the equals. So I would pick your smaller one, especially when doing a story problem. Okay, 5x, and you're going to put a 5x and then a 5x. So if you think you're on a number line, how would you get a 5x? If you're at plus 5x, to get to 0, you'd have to go that way, which means you'd minus it, and that gets rid of it. Then I'd subtract 5x from 10x. So I line up my equals. You want to put the x first, okay? 10x minus 5x. That's just how I prefer to do it. And then add the 400. And over here you got 550. Okay. All right, now you got 5x, so I'm going to make my wall, okay? And I got two things happening to x. We have times 5 and then plus 400. So you have to get that 400 to a 0. The opposite of plus 400 would be minus 400. Okay, so I line up my equals, and now it's a simple equation. 5 times x, and 550 minus 400 is 150. Okay, then you're going to divide both sides by the factor that multiplies x by 5. So I take 150 divided by 5, and that's 30. So if you go back and look at your table, if we would have continued to make the table, we would have had to go to 30 weeks until we would have had the same amount of money, which I'd still be doing it, okay? So that's kind of the benefit that algebra serves. It makes a really long process like that. It simplifies it when you write a representation with an equation. Okay, next one. Mike is currently bench pressing 315 pounds. He is bulking up and wants to increase his bench by 5 pounds each week. Each week means per week. Okay, they mean the same thing. Chad currently bench presses 380 pounds, but he's cutting weight, which means his bench press will decrease by 5 pounds per week. For how many weeks will the two boys be benching equal amounts of weight? Okay, so make a couple tables here. Again, when you're working on your own, you don't have to make these, but I at least want you to make them from the video. Okay, weeks, pounds, weeks, pounds. Okay, so he starts at 315 pounds. Before they even talk about the weeks, he's at 315. And for the other guy, before they even talk about the weeks, he's at 380. He starts at 380. Okay, so after 1 week, he wants to increase by 5, so increase would mean he's up to 320. But this other guy, he's decreasing by 5, okay? So decreasing would mean it goes from 380 down 5 to 375. So right now he's still benching more than him. So after 2 weeks, increase by 5, 325. Decrease by 5, that's 370. Increase by 5, 330. Decrease by 5, 365. Getting closer though. Increase by 5, 335. Decrease by 5, 360. Okay, so as you can see, they're getting closer together. Now, this would not be as long as this table, but I still want to use the equation to solve it. There's something you got to do about what you put here when it's decreasing like that. Okay, so you're going to make your boxes. And you're going to put weeks and pounds. Okay, so X is the time unit, so that's pounds, and then Y is the pounds. Or X is weeks, Y is pounds, sorry. So per, right, that rate of change is pounds per week. Okay, now remember the pounds per week. He's going to increase by 5 pounds per week, so that's 5x, positive 5x. But the other guy, the guy who's decreasing by 5 pounds per week, his slope or his rate of change is negative 5x. Because if you have them both 5x's, they're never going to, it's not going to work. Okay, you need one positive, one negative. Okay, so make your lines. These are called your slopes. So 5x. Negative 5x. Now the guy who's increasing, he starts at 315. Okay, and the guy who's decreasing, he starts at 380. Okay, again, don't put Y when there's two lines, okay, because people get confused. What you're going to do is combine these lines into one equation. 315 plus 5x. Then the other one, you're going to go 380 plus negative 5x. Okay, so again, the equals is here and the x's are on opposite sides, so we're going to have to mark one of them. Again, negative 5 is smaller than positive 5, so I would maybe get rid of that one. It doesn't really matter, but... Okay, so this is negative 5x, so I put 5x and 5x, just put... And if you're at a negative 5 on a number line and you want to get to 0 on that number line, you're going to go this way, which means you would add 5. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. One thing, down here, don't put that as plus negative 5, just put plus 5. You put 5x below it. If you see the top's negative, you're going to plus it. Plus, add the positive. Okay, so we can cross that out. So on here, 5x plus 5x is 10x. Then right here, you're going to add 315. And on the other side, you put 380. Okay, now here's the only x I have. There's two things happening. You got it multiplied by 10 and then a plus 315. So we're going to subtract 315. And line up your equals. Remember, you want to do the one that's on the side of the wall that the x is. So on one side you got 10 times x. Then on the other side, 380 minus 315 is 365. Okay, so 10 times x equals 365. So you're going to divide by 10. Or no, this is wrong. It's not 365. It's just 65. Sorry, I'm bad. That minus that's 65. So 65 divided by 10 is going to be 6.5. So 6.5 weeks. Now you can get a decimal because time's continuous. It can have decimals. You can be between 6 and 7. So if I get a decimal, that's perfectly legit. Okay, next one. At a golf course, you can be a member or a non-member. If you're a member, you pay $30 membership plus $3 per round of golf. Non-members pay no membership, but they pay $5 per round of golf. For how many rounds of golf will the cost for a member and non-member be equal? Okay, so again, the tables when I go over them help kind of illustrate what the situation is. You don't have to make them, but so you got rounds and dollars, rounds and dollars. Okay, so the rounds, you start at 0 and then 30. 0, 30. Now this guy, before he plays any rounds of golf, he don't have to pay anything because he's not a member, okay? This guy pays, before he pays his $3 per round, he pays $30. So that's why the 30 starts off. But this guy here, he paid $5 per round, but he don't pay a membership. So yeah, it's possible to start at 0. Okay, so after one round, he pays $3 more, so 33. After 2 rounds, or no, I'll get his 1 round. After 1 round, he didn't pay a membership, but he's got to pay $5. Okay, so 1, there's 5. After 2, he's up to 36. After 2, he's up to 10. After 3, he's up to 39. After 3, he's up to 15. After 4, he's up to 42. After 4, he's up to 20. Now, eventually they're going to even out because this guy started ahead of this guy, but he's only his cost only increases by 3. This guy's increases by 5, so there's going to come a point where they are the same. Okay, so to find where that is at quicker, we make an equation and solve it. Okay, so you've got dollars and rounds. Now I know there's not a time unit, but remember the rule for time for X. X cannot be money. Okay, so if money's in the problem, you can't label that with X. Okay, so independent variable is my rounds, and then Y is the dependent. So per dollars per round. Okay, so the cost per round, you have 2 of them. You got $3 per round and $5 per round. Now, in both these situations, I was adding, so they're both positive. So 3x and 5x. So you got 2 lines. So the slope on the first line is 3x, and the slope on the second line is 5x. Now, before the $3 per round, you started at 30. Okay, so 30 at the beginning. Now the other guy, he started at 0. Okay, so we're going to put 0 at the beginning. Remember, I don't put equals y because it's just 2 lines. We just combine the lines into one equation. So 30 plus 3x on one side. On the other side, we're going 0 plus 5x. Or actually, don't put the 0. Don't put the 0. Just put 5x. We don't want to put. Okay, now here's the equals. X is on opposite sides. So let's mark the smaller one and get that to a 0. Okay, that's a positive 3x up there, so we want to subtract it so it can go to 0. Like on the last problem, it was negative, so I added it. Now I'm going to subtract 3x. So I line up my equals, and we have 30 on this side. Then 5 minus 3 is 2, 2x. Well, the thing is here, there's only one thing that's actually happening to x, which is times. Okay. So there's no adding and subtracting I have to worry about anymore on this problem. Okay. I go straight into the division. It's because all I have with x, there's only one thing happening to x. It's being multiplied by 2. There's nothing being added or subtracted outside. So then I just go to the division by 2. And that takes me to my answer. So 30 divided by 2 is 15. So again, if I had to make that table and keep going, they would not have equal costs until I got to the 15th round, which would obviously take me a great deal of time. Okay, now I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. Okay. Number 3. This 4 gallons per minute is going to be positive because you're filling, so you'd be adding 4. But this other one, this 12 gallons per minute, you're going to make that a negative because when you're draining, you subtract from how many gallons there are.